Alright then, it seems like forever since I've done one of these videos, so now I'm back with my thoughts on the WWE Hall of Fame 2011. Who I think should be inducted, who I think shouldn't be inducted, why I think the Hall of Fame isn't as prestigious as other people think it is, and also why I think it also is still prestigious, just not as important as other people think it is. Start off with a few little points. I'm just rambling basically, I've just got a bit of a rant to do about the Hall of Fame. They call it the Hall of Fame, but there is no actual hall. It's literally just an idea in Vince McMahon's head. I've spoke about this in other videos. But a Hall of Fame is supposed to be an actual place where they display images and display memorabilia of these guys, these legends who have been put in some Hall of Fame. But in wrestling terms, and in the WWE's case, they do not have an actual Hall of Fame. It is literally just an idea in the head of Vince McMahon, and the only place the hall exists is inside his head. So that's just a pet peeve of mine, the way they call it the Hall of Fame. They should just call it a yearly honours or something like that. Anyway, it's just the concepts really in his head. There's big names missing from it, like Bob Backlund, Bruno Sammartino. Off the top of my head, those are the only two I can think of. Those are the two everyone talks about, that's why they're on the top of my head. Who else? Macho Man Randy Savage, The Ultimate Warrior, Bill Goldberg, Sting. All these guys who people think should be in the Hall of Fame and aren't in the Hall of Fame already. Shawn Michaels, another big name who's not in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, they're putting him in now, so it's sort of rectifying that. But still, how can you call it a Hall of Fame when two of your key players of all time, two guys who held the title for absolutely ages in Bruno Sammartino and Bob Backlund, how can you call it a Hall of Fame when you've not got those two guys in it, you know? It just doesn't make sense yet. You got guys like Coco Beware, that's another name that everyone throws out there, like, oh, it's not prestigious because Coco Beware's in there. Coco Beware was he wasn't a great wrestler, but I don't know, him being in there is not a massive disservice to the Hall of Fame in my opinion. Another thing is, it's just an advert for WrestleMania at the end of the day. It's literally just a thing to put on the night before, just to drum up a bit of interest in the product really. It's a chance for old fans to watch the Hall of Fame and watch these emotional speeches by old guys that they've seen in the past, like Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart. Look at these guys cutting these really emotional, truthful promos and think, you know what, I really loved wrestling when they were in it. I'm gonna order WrestleMania tomorrow. I'm in a good mood now after watching this. I want to watch some wrestling. I'm gonna order WrestleMania tomorrow. And to a certain extent it must work because they keep doing the Hall of Fame and it's not a massive money spinner, but obviously it must work to promote WrestleMania the next night, and also it's a good thing for them to do for the wrestlers, I suppose. Owen Hart, everyone brings up Owen Hart, says Owen Hart should be in the Hall of Fame. Why is Owen Hart in the Hall of Fame? My understanding of this is that basically the WWE want him in the Hall of Fame, but Martha Hart, Owen Hart's widow, won't let them. Basically, they won't let them use his image and the rights to his name to promote their products, which is, I suppose, it's genuine and fair that she lost her husband to the WWE. Her husband should have never have died on the job. It's a dangerous business, and people can say, oh, he knew what he was getting into, but he should have never been 50 feet up in the air coming down to the ring on a rope. At the end of the day, he's a professional wrestler, he's not an acrobat. He should have never been doing that. So for her to turn around and say the WWE cannot use his name and the rights to his name and his image and all that, I'm perfectly fine with that, and I'm perfectly fine with him not being in the Hall of Fame. Not that I don't like him, I think he's a fantastic wrestler, one of the greatest of all time. As I've said, like I said before, in other videos I've mentioned that, because I mentioned that Bret Hart is, in my opinion, the best wrestler of all time, but Owen Hart on his day was better than Bret, so that just speaks for itself, doesn't it? But yeah, people always go on about it, oh, Owen Hart should be in it, but that is the main reason, I think, that's my understanding of it anyway, is that Martha Hart won't let the WWE use his image, so that's the only reason why he's not in, because if they did put him in, they'd be in violation of probably several laws. They get sued and then they'll end up having to show out a couple of million to Martha Hart, and at the end of the day it'll be bad press that they went against the wishes of the widow of an ex-employee just to promote themselves. And people say that Martha Hart should just let Owen be in there because we need to remember Owen's memory, and we need to, us fans need to really still care about him. But the fact that him being in the Hall of Fame or not does not affect the amount that the fans care about Owen Hart, and it It doesn't change my opinion of Owen Hart whether he's in the Hall of Fame or not. I still think he's a fantastic wrestler whether he's in there or not. If they announce it's Saturday tonight, so if they announce on Monday that Owen Hart's going into the Hall of Fame, my opinion of him will not change whatsoever. In general, other fans who haven't heard of him might start thinking, oh, Owen Hart is some great wrestler, but that's just fake fandom in my opinion. If they don't know who he is now, then they need to research him and not just be told by WWE that he's good and he's Hall of Fame material for them to start thinking, oh yeah, he's a good wrestler, I want to really think he's awesome. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why I'm asking you if you know what I mean, because you can't really speak back to me, can you? I suppose you could comment down here, if anything. Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, us fans, we're selfish and we want Owen Hart to be in there. We want to see the emotional speech, we want to see someone induct him and all that, blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, this woman lost her husband to his job, which he should have never died in. For us, he's just a name, he's just an image, he's just a memory. Some guy we saw on TV a couple of times when we were a kid, well that's what he is to me. I have fond memories of him, but at the same time, you know, I didn't know him personally, so what right have I got to demand that he be in the Hall of Fame? Us fans need to just take a step back and say, do you know what, she's his widow, it's her decision, and we've just got to respect her decision at the end of the day. Right, now the rant, it wasn't really a rant, it was just me sort of blabbing on, wasn't it? But yeah, now I'm going to talk through who I think should be in the Hall of Fame, who they should induct this year. First of all, I'm going to start with HBK, Shawn Michaels, the man this past Monday that they announced was going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. People have complained that Alberto Del Rio came and interrupted his speech and that Shawn Michaels didn't say anything. But what people are missing it is that, well, not everyone's missing it, but I think some people are missing, so I just thought I'd explain my point of view and my side of the story and what I think's going on, is that they brought Shawn Michaels out to give Del Rio the rub. Shawn Michaels did not have to say a single word, and now it will forever be that the last time he spoke on Raw was the night after WrestleMania when he retired, and what a nice image that is in the fans' minds for the rest of time to think, you know what, the last time Shawn Michaels spoke on Raw was that emotional time that him and Triple H hugged each other and then Shawn Michaels walked off stage and he was gone forever. He did appear and he gave the rub to Alberto Del Rio. Now people might be thinking that he didn't give the rub to Del Rio because he super kicked him, but the fact that they brought Del Rio out, put him in the same ring as Shawn Michaels, who they were saying is the best ever on Raw. On Raw they were saying he is the best ever, and they put Del Rio in the ring with him. Even though Michaels just got a cheap shot and super kicked him, but the fact that he was in the ring with the best ever, it just gives him the rub. It just puts him over already. Even more than what it was before. That super kick did not harm him whatsoever, and Del Rio perfectly deserves it, because to me, he's the best guy WWE have got right now who has not been world champion before. Basically, he's the guy they should give it to next, who hasn't had it already. Right, so HBK. Back to him, yeah, he deserves it. You know, he's been fantastic. When I was a kid, he was my favourite wrestler. Him and Bret Hart, hand in hand, you know, side by side, my favourite two wrestlers. Shawn Michaels perfectly deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I've got very fond memories of a kid as being a fan of Shawn Michaels. I remember the Shawn Michaels action figure and being gutted, absolutely gutted when I broke the arm off it by accident. And then my mum bought me another one, but still, just it was a different one that she bought, and I still remember it now. It's the one with the white trunks and the red love hearts, and the body's like this, and you can move the arms up like that and back down, and it's rigid, and you could probably move it around one way like that. Just the image of that was just such a good little toy. I had that, but yeah, I broke it when I was a kid. Anyway, this is a tag team I think should be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The Legion of Doom, Road Warrior Hawk and Road Warrior Animal. Now, a lot of people, I've seen a few of these videos on YouTube of people saying, oh, this guy should be in the Hall of Fame and this guy should be in the Hall of Fame and they should induct this guy. The main problem is with what they've been doing is that this Hall of Fame is a moneymaker. You don't want to put too many guys in one Hall of Fame and overload it. You just want one key name in the Hall of Fame to attract all the fans. Because Shawn Michaels will attract them this year. Next year they can put in a guy like Randy Savage. The year after they can put in a guy like The Warrior. And they will attract fans in droves. If they put, for example, Savage, Warrior, Michaels all in this year, then it's just a bit diluted. Then next year they'll have no one to headline the group. So yeah, Shawn Michaels in my opinion, deserves to be that guy this year. So for me, I wouldn't put anyone like Savage or Warrior or any of those guys in there. People say that Savage will never be in there because of controversy surrounding his departure from WWE. I don't believe the rumours that are out there. I believe the Slim Jim story, not the Stephanie story. So yeah, Legion of Doom are the next people I'd put in the Hall of Fame, because I think you need a tag team in there. Road Warrior Hawk, Road Warrior Animal, blabbering my words here, sorry. Yeah, fantastic tag team in the day. I wasn't a big fan of theirs, I will admit that now, but they were highly over. Watching them in my 97, well, I've been rewatching 97, they were over then. The fans were loving them, the fans loved them. They were well past the prime then, in my opinion. When they were in the prime, the fans absolutely loved them. There were two guys, didn't sell, just threw their opponents around, probably hurt a hell of a lot of opponents, but the fans absolutely loved them. So that, yeah, LOD, rated as one of the best tag teams of all time, perfectly deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. Another person I'd put in the Hall of Fame. Also, can I just mention that you can't put too many deceased people into the Hall of Fame at once. Obviously, I've just gone for one, and that was Road Warrior Hawk at this time. I'm not going to put any more people who are deceased. Guys like Rick Rude, who deserve to be in the Hall of Fame also. I would put him in, but I wouldn't put him in this year. I'd put him in maybe next year or the year after. Also, another thing about this year's Hall of Fame is that it's in Atlanta, where the WCW was based. So a lot of people think, oh, it might be a WCW theme, so I've sort of incorporated that into who I think should be inducted. And the LOD had a nice little one in the NWA in the, I'm tempted to say late 80s, but I don't know, I'm just guessworking, so yeah, take that for what you will. But yeah, next person I've put in is Sunny. She is the original diva in my opinion, or alternatively, you could put Sable in there. Sable looks fantastic still, and Sable has that link to Brock Lesnar. How big of a deal would it be if Lesnar was there and he inducted Sable? That would be a massive. As far as I'm aware, his UFC contract states that he cannot wrestle for the WWE. I don't think it says anything about him appearing at something like a Hall of Fame ceremony where there's no physical work whatsoever. So that would be really interesting if they could get Brock Lesnar to induct his wife Sable into the Hall of Fame. That'd be massive news for WWE. Get a few extra people watching the Hall of Fame. Those few extra people might watch the emotional speeches throughout the night and think, you know what? I want to have WrestleMania the next day. So Brock Lesnar can indirectly, just by inducting his wife, cause a few more people to be watching WrestleMania, even though he's not in there. Just a thought, isn't it, WWE? But yeah, Sunny and Sable, they're just the original divas, weren't they? I personally prefer Sunny, but Sable has that monetary value, whereas Sunny doesn't really have that anymore. Then another person I put in, going back to the WCW theme, Lex Luger, a guy who had a fantastic push in both companies. I was a big fan of his when he was heading up WCW's charge to beat the NWO, and he beat Hogan for the WCW title on an episode of Nitro, and all the guys lifted him up on his shoulders. That was a fantastic episode of Nitro. Maybe 95, 96, probably 96. Yeah, great episode. He's a bit dishriveled down, but put him in a suit, he should look alright. Induct Luger into the Hall of Fame. I'm not coming up with people who should really induct these people in, apart from Lesnar inducting Sable. Shawn Michaels obviously been inducted by Triple H. I can't see anybody else inducting in then. The Legion of Doom, I don't know who could induct them, maybe. Demolition, perhaps, I don't know. Next up, Arn Anderson, another WCW old boy, and the big thing with Arn Anderson is that he works behind the scenes at the WWE right now. So WWE like to do that, where they sort of ask like the guys who work backstage, like, oh, this guy was such a great wrestler, even when they weren't. Although Anderson was a decent worker, they like to say, oh, he was a great worker, let's put him in the Hall of Fame, let's really show how good they were. Anderson deserves to be in there, so yeah, I firmly believe that Anderson will be in there. Me picking him on my little list is a bit fraudulent, really, because I think everyone knows that Anderson's going to be put in there this year. And my last name to complete my list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, is that 7? Yeah, that's 7. Sorry, I just had LOD on there, so yeah, I counted 6, but 7 because of LOD. Larry Zbyszko. He had was it Bruno Sammartino that it was master versus teacher versus pupil sort of thing, where they had a feud like back in this, like, must have been the 70s. And then Zbyszko was the commentator for WCW during its high popularity stages. So yeah, he'd fit straight into the WCW theme. He'd fit into the WWF old school theme, because he liked to put on old school guys in. Well, obviously old school guys, but really older school guys in there. And I mean, he must have wrestled in the 60s and 70s. Zbyszko. I mean, he started in the 70s. I don't really know. But yeah, that, I think to me that would be a decent little list of Hall of Famers. So let's see how many I get right. Let's see over the next couple of weeks how many of these actually get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Just one more time, running off the list: HBK, Shawn Michaels, obviously that's done already. The Legion of Doom, Sonny / Sable, I would go for Sable. Lex Luger, Arn Anderson, and Larry Zbyszko. Let me think. What am I talking about? Let me know what you think of my Hall of Fame inductee predictions. Let me hear your predictions. Let me hear who you think should be in there. Let me hear who you think shouldn't be in there. Just let me know what you think of the Hall of Fame and everything I've talked about in this video. With that, I'm out. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back playing that for a while, but in a bit.